going to work out, okay? Okay, it looks like I'm live. Let me say something. I know I'm live on Facebook. Hey, I hope you guys are doing good. I'm sorry I'm on a little bit late. I had a little bit of technical difficulty. So I'm getting it going here, but let me just post this in here. Okay, I hope that works. Anyway, all right. Anyway, hey, Gail, it's good to see you. I hope everything's doing good. I wanted to come on for a minute to talk about, you know, after you break up, after your divorce, and your bills are coming at you, and you feel like you're underwater. You know, what can be a solution? What can be your options? And for a lot of women, again, this is a time where a lot of people are moving and they're taking on, you know, a whole lot of other different bills that maybe they didn't anticipate. And so they're like, oh my gosh, how do I manage this? And, you know, it seems like my ex or my soon to be ex has money coming out of his ears and, you know, oh my gosh, you know, what can I do? There was one particular person who was on social media who was really just wringing her hands, you know, saying that, you know, they had gone to have a hearing and the court had said, okay, the mortgage gets paid and that's all that her ex was required to do. And she was like, oh my gosh, I got all these other bills. I got electricity. I've got, you know, this, I've got, you know, all the other things, my car payment, all my other things, you know, what can I do? You know, I'm at my wit's end. So no one can help me. And so I wanted to make a suggestion for a solution that may very well be something that's really going to help her, but a lot of people don't, you know, they just don't think about. And that is credit counseling. And credit counseling can be a wonderful, wonderful option for a lot of people. And it's something, again, that a lot of people don't really think about because they think, you know, oh my goodness, the expense of it, you know, is going to be, oh, you know, I can't afford to pay somebody to help me with my bills. I can't pay my bills. Isn't that the point? But the thing is, you know, a lot of times the credit counselors obviously know that, you know, you're under pressure financially. And so a lot of times their fees are very reasonable. It could be, you know, $100 or $200 to help you, you know, manage thousands of dollars. You know, for a lot of people, that's a good investment. And so, you know, don't sleep on that. And so a lot of people are like, okay, how do I find a reputable credit counselor? You know, there's a lot of people out here on the internet, you know, looking for the fastest way to separate you from your money. I get it. I absolutely get that. So, you know, how do you manage that? What do you do? One good measure that I know of is there is a list. If you go to the U.S. Department of Justice, and you're like, go to U.S. Department of Justice website. Yeah, go to their website. They will have a list of, if you click on the tab, I believe it's on the left-hand side or it might be on the top of the page, but there's a tab for credit counselors. And so these are the credit counseling bureaus that the court deals with. And so they're a lot less likely to do you dirty, okay? They know a federal judge is, you know, watching them, okay? Doesn't mean that they're perfect, but you've got a whole lot of a heads up. You know, you have a full running start ahead of you if you know that these credit companies are being watched by federal judges. And so, you know, that's really the first place to start. And they have a list for all 50 states. So it doesn't matter what state you're in when you're watching this video. They have a list of all 50 states. Just plug in your state, plug in your area, and you'll find a credit counselor that is close to you. And they are, you know, certified in doing this. And usually a lot of times they have a lot of years of experience doing this, and they can help you negotiate with your creditors. And they can also give you really good suggestions on how to cut down on your bills. And you might say, oh my gosh, you know, how do I do that? How do I cut down on my bills? Sorry, give me just a second. How do I cut down on my bills? Sometimes that may mean that you're going to have to make some hard choices. Now, what are those hard choices may look like? Okay. It may just be that, you know, you may have to choose between the internet and your cable bill. I know for a while, that was the choice I had to make: internet or credit or cable bill, because I couldn't do both. And nowadays when they have things like Hulu and Netflix and Amazon.com that now has their own, which just is amazing to me. They have their own, network pretty much, just like in regular networks that we grew up with, and that's just amazing to me. But there's a lot of good options out there as far as decent programming that you now have available to you on the internet. And so I might just suggest, hey, Netflix, was it $10 a month, as opposed to cable at maybe close to 100, if not more, a month. Sometimes you have to learn to like new things, and so that's what we're doing. We're learning to like new things, and so just know that there may be options, and sometimes you just don't know until you try it. Don't poo-poo the internet networks. You might end up liking Hulu. You might end up liking Amazon.com or whatever other channels that you may be interested in. And I know now, I think also too that I saw that HBO is really looking for just having an online networking presence. And so they may be doing some new things that they're going to be announcing in the upcoming months. That's going to be a lot cheaper option than taking on the full, cable packages that are currently being offered now. So just know that, these are options. They have great ideas. These credit counselors, again, a lot of times they have lots of years of experience. And again, it's an option that a lot of people just don't think of. It's just not something that's spoken of in, everyday conversation. And so, unless you're dealing with somebody who's in the financial field, who's in banking, who's, a financial advisor who is, really does this stuff, and looks at this stuff, for a living, then you're not likely to think about this because you just don't run into people who talk about it, right? So, just know that that is a viable option. I've given you a resource to look for reputable credit counselors. You go right to the U.S. Department of Justice website. They have, I think, if you click on where it says, where it has bankruptcy courts, and that doesn't mean that I'm suggesting you should file for bankruptcy. It's just where you find the list of credit counselors, okay? I'm not saying that, you're at that point. But a lot of times credit counseling is the step just before you may have to file for bankruptcy. And so they're usually like the stopgap. They are what is, hey, Sharon, it's good to see you. Well, good. I'm glad. I'm glad that it is a blessing to someone. Because I know the Lord said, talk about this today. Somebody needs to hear it. So I'm glad it's you, because I miss you. We're not having a Bible study tonight, so just so you know. But I do miss you, and so we need to get caught up, girl. We need to get caught up. So anyway, so that's what we're doing. So again, so that's the resource to find reputable credit counselors in your area. And my mom's coming in. Wave, you're on YouTube and Facebook. Anyway, so those are the things that you need to do to really start to get a handle on what your financial situation looks like. And again, there's a lot of things that you may be able to look at. Sometimes the hardest thing is just making the budget. So if you pull out, a lot of times your computer has programs on it, has apps on it already that will help you to do that. Oh, cool. He's still in summer school. Okay, good. Okay, good, Sharon. I see you. Good. All right. I'm glad you're studying hard. Okay. But one of the things that you can do, utilize what you already have on your computer. Like for me, for example, I have a Mac computer. I have a MacBook Pro. And they have, if you go into numbers, they have great charts that are already set up. You just plug in your numbers and it does the work for you. Or you can just go use a regular spreadsheet. Or if you have a PC and you have a Word, use your Excel spreadsheets. A lot of times too, they will have, if you look into your apps or your utilities of that, they have great programs that help you to try to manage and see where you can cut different areas, okay? So just know, there are some options. Sometimes it's just, being brave, taking that step and saying, okay, I'm not in this alone. Holy Spirit's right here in this room with me. and let's start to get a handle on this. Let's see where things can get cut. Let's see where things can, we can change things around. And sometimes you may find that you have even better option than you thought before. So, you know, hang in there. I know it's scary sometimes, especially if, you know, you weren't the one in the relationship who did all the bills. You know, if your ex did all the online banking or took care of everything, you know, you're like, oh my gosh, you know, I didn't even realize we had this bill. I didn't even realize, you know, we were paying this. And so you can do it. You can do it. You can get organized. You can, you know, get your arms around things. You can find ways to cut expenses. You can, you know, learn to see what's, you know, new in your area that, you know, may be an interest of you for you, that, you know, you don't necessarily have to do a lot of the other things that are a lot more expensive. There might be less expensive options in your area. You know, there's lots of stuff. And even, let me just say this, you know, especially I'm speaking to moms right now. A lot of times you're afraid to really change the dynamics, to really change, oh my gosh, you know, I don't want to get rid of cable. You know, especially if you have the kids, you may be afraid, hey, you know, my ex still has cable. My kids are going to want to live with him. They're going to think it's too hard living with me. It's, you know, it's too much of a change. And you're afraid that your kids are going to want to go where they think they're going to have more fun, right? You know, I get it. I get it. But a lot of times, let me just say this. A lot of times when you are involving the kids in a way that's healthy, in a way that's age appropriate, you know, depending on how old kids are. But, you know, if your kids are, you know, 8, 9, 10, 11, you're like, hey, you know, this is a goal this month. This is what we have to work with. You know, you can make a, you know, a cute little pie chart for them, you know, make a project that you guys can do together. You know, hey, let's color this pie chart in, and this is what this is, and this is what we have to work with. And this is our goal, to be able to, you know, eliminate this expense, or this is the goal to be able to have the bills not go above this. Or you can make it like a thermometer, you know, that you don't want to go above this level. You know, something that's age appropriate for your kids. And you'd be surprised when they start to get invested in the process, when they start to get invested in saying, hey, you know, I'm helping mommy do this, that, and the other thing. You'll be surprised how they will be your biggest cheerleader. So don't discount your kids, okay? They love you. They really do. And a lot of times they want to feel like they're helpful and that they can do something. They have some power. You know, a lot of times kids just want to feel like, you know, they matter, and the things that they do can be a big help to adults. You know, they want to feel like that they're, you know, putting on their, you know, big boy and big girl pants and helping out their parents. And again, in a way that's healthy, because we don't want to burden our kids with the things that we're dealing with. But, you know, if we just let them in on certain, you know, little things, again, in a way that's age appropriate, then you'll find that any fears that you have that your kids are going to want to live with your ex because they have all the, you know, your ex has all the toys and all the gadgets at their house, you'll find it's not true. This is not true. Okay. So I hope that you find this video helpful and useful. If you do, for Facebook folks, like my page. For YouTube folks, subscribe to my channel, because I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, because then that allows me to do a whole lot of other things. It opens up a whole lot of other options on YouTube. So let's work towards that. On Facebook, thank God, you know, I have already some wonderful, over 23,000 people on my Facebook page. So I'm working on that on YouTube, okay? So it looks like it worked. I was able to simultaneously stream to both YouTube and Facebook at the same time. Yay! I'm learning, okay? You know, I'm not a techie girl. I'm not a techie girl, but I'm learning, okay? And I'm willing to step out there. And that's another thing. Let me leave you with this. Be fearless. Be fearless, because again, you know, I'm like 2 + 2 is 5. Okay, you know, I'm like techie you know, I'm not a techie person. I'm like, okay, you know, just tell me where to press a button. That's all I, you know, that's all I can handle. But if I can do it, and I'm almost 50, you know, you can do it. Okay, you can learn new things. Don't be afraid. Step out there. Be brave. Okay. All right. I love you, ladies. Take care, and I will see you soon. All right, Sharon. Love you, honey. I'll see you soon.